I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Floresville EDC Development. Today's February the 12th, 2018. My name is Ray Lambert. We have Scott Gleason. We have Ben Reed. We have Fred Gonzalez, Sherry Castillo, Daniel Tejada, our Executive Director Tommy Baker, City Manager Henrietta Turner. Melissa Menace is absent. She did call in. We do have a quorum. Folks, listen to the patient list.
Big record. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as always, we ask that you be with us tonight as we carry on the city's business and as we embark on a very ambitious agenda. We ask that you guide us, that you provide us with the insight and the courage to make good decisions so that our town can be better off and so eventually we can benefit the citizens. We ask all of this in your Son's name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. You guys, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. How You got the gripa? Give me a sick, I'll get medicine. Very well, do we have any citizens' comments, please? Greg, would you like to say something?
No, thank you.
Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from January the 8th? So I need a motion and
I'll
a
make a
second.
motion. Let me ask a question first, if I may, Ray.
You may.
On item number 9 and then also on item, sorry here, but my hands are very tremble. Item number 11, I noticed that where we say, for example, we say, let me read the whole sentence here. The 2017-2018 approved budget has $50,000 budgeted for new business development or a new line item entry to be set up as skills training grants with board and council approval. Why do we need council approval on these? It just seems like that's something we can decide on our own.
I'll defer to the attorney.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have the minutes in front of me, I don't have a copy.
Let me just generalize it. When we have projects, Councilor, let me just make it a little more general. When we have projects that are well within the purview of our responsibilities, do we need to get council approval before we can approve them?
Not before, after. So it depends on the type of project.
No, I mean before. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Do we need to get council approval before we proceed with the project?
It depends on the type of project. So different projects fall within different statutory authorization. So depending on what type of project it is, sometimes it requires council read a resolution twice, but in general, you're gonna have to ask council for approval for those projects. And sometimes it requires like I said, a resolution. The council, you approve the resolution,
Right.
and then the council will have to approve it twice, 2 readings of it. It depends on the type of project, because that's what the statute authorizes. So there's some projects that we say, for example, the sign projects. And those are, if you approve it once, we can work through where it's one project per se, and then we have can have that leeway to approve the sign project because it's kind of one big project that has been approved. But otherwise, for very specific projects, in particular if it's over a certain amount of money, or if it fits within certain things. So certain are jobs, certain things are housing, certain things are for the recreation. So it just depends on the statutory where it falls in, but in general, yes. And it just depends, like I said, whether or not council has to read a resolution twice, once, as well.
But even, and I'm sorry that I'm kind of proceeding here with more questions, but I need to know.
Your question's always welcome, Fred.
Thank you. But, you know, it just seems to me that if we were approved early on when we went before the voters, for example, for a particular or specific project or a whole bunch of projects, that approval is already there for us to go ahead and proceed to take care of those particular projects as they come up. Am I wrong in that?
So in general, how that works is that the law, and when you pass when the election is passed, those type of projects, everything that you want to do has to fit within those initiatives.
Right.
After that, the type of projects within those very broad initiatives have to fit within, that's why I have my book right here.
Yeah.
Have to fit within one of these statutes somewhere. Otherwise, you can't expend that money. And so, first, it has to fit here, and then second, council does have to, in general, approve
I just want to make sure that that's what we did. And again, the past doesn't mean much, I know, but in the past, we didn't have to do that. And I'm not questioning you, whatever you say, that's a legal thing, that's what we'll do.
that. So, right, like I said, so if you want to just proceed with something, you know, you want to support the city and pass a resolution to support the city because you believe they're doing a good project, that's okay. If you're gonna expend money, that has a very specific statutory process that we have to follow.
Yeah. In item number 10, it does say with council approval, but in that particular project, that had not been approved yet by the city, I believe. And that's how it was set upon council.
What, your January 8th meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, that was for the park, right?
Yeah.
And then they approved it this last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I speak, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so this is referring to the project that was Park Foundation, and one of the things that was on the agenda for the Park Foundation was them to make improvements at the skate park. And so the city hadn't approved for them to do that when you all had your meeting on January 8th.
So, now we're just talking about what the meetings reflect, what the minutes reflect, and as long as we don't need to make
So
corrections,
they
we'll
were-
address like the
Yeah,
other projects.
So it was, at this time, it was accurate that you would need city council approval. the
And
way
that's
it's
what the
been-
last sentence says in 10,
Yeah.
with
Yes.
council approval,
No, I
such
understand that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be honored.
Because the city, at this, when we had the meeting January, for your minute, for the purpose of your minutes, the council had not approved for the Park Foundation to move forward. So the minutes reflect.
So we don't have it on our new business, so we'll have to wait till next meeting, about new business or whatever to say that, we want to talk about it at the meeting before we approve.
So, yeah, so right now is if the minutes for that meeting in particular were accurate, then
You
Yes.
good?
I'm good.
On item number 11, Mr. Baker, it says for board members to be alimented.
Eliminated.
Okay, eliminated, okay.
Yeah, that's spelling.
Okay.
But you were ready, right?
I was ready.
We need to change it.
In US terms, that's a misspelling.
Okay.
Not a typo, right?
Does everyone understand the meaning of that?
I move that we're ready for motion, right?
Yes, sir?
I move that we approve the regular minutes of the January 8th, 2018 meeting.
There's a motion by Fred. For a second.
I'll second it.
For a second by Scott. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
we need to do the 10th and the 5th as well.
Ma'am?
We need to do January 5th, January 10th.
Okay. Would everybody move to the January 10th and February 5th minutes? I might have those minutes. I've got 12. I've got 2 12. Tom, you didn't do a very good job over there, man.
You need one for you?
Very well, I've got it now. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from January the 10th? Do we have any corrections or amendments to the, in the minutes?
I move that we approve January 10th minutes.
We have a motion by Danny,
I'll second.
second by Fred. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We can now look at the minutes for February the 5th, 2018, please.
Will we send a copy of the January 10th minutes?
I did. I had it. I don't know.
Did you?
I had it, but I picked up my package.
Oh,
It's in the,
I don't have the 5th, I'm sorry.
I have the 8th, the 5th, the 8th, and the, oh, this is for the,
January
yeah,
5th.
okay.
Are we ready on the February 5th?
Has everyone had a chance to review those, please?
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the minutes for February 5th, 2018.
We have a motion by Ben,
I'll second.
second by Fred to approve the motion for the minutes of February the 5th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
May I make a comment on these? I noticed that they're style, they're formatted differently. I like this format better.
You do?
Yes, on the minutes.
Okay, great.
On February 5th, she likes that.
She
The
might-
format,
Yeah.
February 5th minutes, yeah, she likes that format better.
Oh.
So you can make it look like the February 5th minutes.
Because it doesn't look like we're voting on this again. I mean, it's,
She likes it.
It's different than the agenda.
I agree with you. I think it looks good and it's well distinguished between the two.
It's underlined, so you know it's a minute.
Let's just kind of go ahead and do that, Tom, if you would, please.
Make all the minutes look like.
Make them look like this.
Yeah.
And that way we can distinguish between the old and new. Do you have a copy of this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have a treasurer's report, please?
So,
What are those?
Tommy can go over the numbers, but what I wanted to go off of the very beginning, before I met with Tommy, is just, we always have a big packet. And the treasurer, I was wanting to get just some of your line items things, so we can get a first page of just like an outline summary of like some of the main things we want to see in the beginning, so we don't have to be thumbing through it, so like.
bullet points,
Bullet points.
to highlight the important things.
Exactly, so if we want a bullet point, like, I was thinking, you know, the balance and all that, that's a good cover sheet, but the next one, the fun, like, bullet point, the sales tax, so we don't have to, if you want to thumb through and look it up previously, but just like, here's the, what we have this month, like an outline. I wanted to bring that to
It's a great idea.
the group and see what y'all think about that.
I think he could print it with for the comparison, but we don't have to discuss it.
Yeah.
I have my bookkeeper who helps Connie prepare this, and she'll be coming to the meetings. So, Christina?
Hi, my name is Christina Gandu.
Welcome.
And she's met with your treasurer to discuss that, but she's here so she can hear whatever comments or details you have so that she can take it back and get you the type of report that you want to have. And Mrs. Castillo has already made a comment that we need to have it more in a timely manner so you can get it to them, to Mr. Baker electronically, timely to your treasurer. So you may know that, right?
Instead of just like printing off all the pages after the thumb through, like here, what are these are the top 5 or 10 things we want to see, so. I don't know how y'all want to handle that, whether you want to try to do that today or just.
Well, this
send-
is not a CNA.
Yeah, so we
item,
can put that on the future,
Does that have
Agenda?
to take, does that have to take
on the
action?
agenda, action item?
No.
No.
It's just an administrative thing.
Yeah, it's administrative report.
That's his request.
Yeah, just a request, so, you know, what are some of the things I wanted to kind of poll everybody on what they would like to see. So I'd like to see like the monthly sales as a bullet point,
The income,
the income,
expenditures.
the expenditures, and maybe like an update of each project.
So like on the bullet point, if we have $50,000 allocated for the helping of businesses, Tommy, and then we say this is the current project, it's 45, so we know the running total. We don't have to go back and look, but we have a running total of the project, of what we're working on currently. And that would be good to have in the treasurer report. So like, yeah, because so like if we're helping the facades right now, we talked the other day how we have a $4,500 project. We know we have 50,000 for the other 45. We have in the works a $7,500 one, so we have an idea of where we're at. So we're not over.
Like a spin down?
Yes.
Say you're at 45, I'm putting on, you're at 45, you spent 5 on this project, you spent 3 on this
To date,
project.
so we keep an idea of what we're doing to date. So it's like a.
So that when you come in July, you know that you're down to $20,000 and you spend it on these projects.
And if you're out and about you're out promoting the business, and you're talking to business, I don't want to go out and say, hey, we have this money available, and it's not.
Is this actual cash or is this inclusive of doing?
And I guess,
Just to spend out on the project.
yeah, and we kind of talked about this sometime back.
Yeah.
And my way of saying it, we need something that is reader-friendly, the folks that are not necessarily accountants or are not directly involved in the official records. These are fine periodically, but for us to just at a glance be able to tell where we are, how we are, I think we need something simple. And again, not necessarily, not fully covering everything, but simple that we, at a glance, and we don't get lost with the pages.
Yeah, and I think eventually it can be a selling point. As people come in, you have, a copy of the minutes, you have a.
So for that glance, would you want it to be executive overview to say you're at this, the highlights, this, that, and then go into the detail? Christina, did you hear that? You want like an executive overview to say, kind of like, here you are, this is what you got.
Yeah, this is where we're at in our cash on hand, this is where we're at in our, we spent this much in office supply. We don't need to go down and read that, we spent on this many red pens.
So you can just say, this is where you at in your money market account.
And this is
This
where
is
we're at
what your
on.
expenditures are, and this is what you got in this account, this is what you have in that account.
And then I talked about like,
Any details, is that better?
like
My
my
personal, I would like the full report.
Oh,
Yeah.
It'll, no,
Anybody doesn't want.
So this will be underneath.
this will not
No,
change.
this
She's
will
gonna
be
do
there.
just something on top.
Just something on top where you, at a glance, we
Yeah.
just go through it.
At one point, I want to inject and not trying to enter a parade. Been speaking with our comptroller and very sweet lady, and I'm glad we have her on board. But it's unaudited fund balance, I was going to get confused with the fact that there's some uncertainty if this is actual million dollar bills or if this includes land values also.
Yeah.
She's going to get with Connie tomorrow to clarify this and
What's the
we'll see
cash
what it is.
My understanding from, October, September, we had this, when this showed up, was counting real estate, because I noticed that our fund balance went way up all of a sudden from one month to the next.
Now,
So-
you're right, and unaudited, when she says audited, that means the auditors have said
Yeah.
and stamped their CPA behind to say, that's what it is. Unaudited means this is what we figured out today.
Yeah.
It's unaudited. Speaking of the auditor, if they will be here at the end of this month, and then schedule a meeting to meet with Tommy to start the process.
And I repeat, she specified unaudited, but I just don't want everybody to get confused with the fact that maybe we don't have $2.3 million effective in the bank.
And let me know
It could
when
be,
it comes from. So
part of that is land value and part of that is cash. It's not segregated.
No, understand.
It's round.
But we need something that we can
They're gonna be
see
in
and
the office
understand,
February
readily.
26th. the
Yes,
first day.
that's what we're looking for, just how many green dollar bills do we have and how much dirt value do we have? And that
Yeah,
would
I
be
see,
simple.
because it could be confused.
Because it's not, the land's not liquidity. The green dollar bills we can project.
Okay, so do you feel comfortable with the term cash on hand?
Yeah, that's fine.
You comfortable with that term?
What's wrong with green
cash.
dollar bills?
And then, if you can put in there.
Here's your value, your fund balance, but what you have cash on hand means this is money you have in the bank.
That's what we'd like to see this separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That just stops all the confusion.
Yeah, just like all the rundown deals, right now we have a current project on, what we have credit with y'all as far as real estate space when we rent. So we don't, how many months we got left, so we have to start planning to pay rent this year when that's up in a few years or whatever. I know, but still.
Yes, okay, I get you.
And
Hey,
it's
over
not
the what we're
intended-
fixing, we'll never pay rent again. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay, that's it. I'm
Ray,
done.
and it's not intended to criticize the report. This has a place where it belongs We just want something that's a little more peculiar to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not accountant.
Yeah.
So what
You're
you're
gonna
asking,
fool me.
You're up, Tom.
so what you're asking for is a sheet
Ben,
with
you
all
gonna run this
the
meeting?
bullet points,
Yeah.
this under it. And can we get it timely also, like at the same time we get the other materials?
She wants that at the same time.
Yes, ma'am.
It-
Yes, ma'am.
This came to me today,
Yeah,
and
but-
I think I sent it out, but it was just running late.
Well, it came today in the email, and
But the
couldn't print it.
last month, they were, it was like 4 or 5 days ahead.
Yeah, I'll make sure you get it out.
So we're getting the timing down.
Thank you.
I would like everyone to understand that,
Tom?
what you got?
I have a question. During the audit, are you still gonna be able to attend our meetings?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because last year we didn't. Yeah.
That'd be great if you could, we'd appreciate
That's
that.
all we have an
She's
extra.
full-time staff, she will be here.
Okay.
That in January, this January compared to a year ago, we're up, our sales tax is up almost 17%. And if you look at the balance of the year, we've been up every month. So, we can't make that a permanent thing right now, but by the time we get into the summer and start talking about budget, we ought to have some positive numbers to work with. Unless there are questions, I'll,
And why do you think that is, Mr. Baker? Why do you see the drastic increase?
I think the shopping center, the small shopping center is online now. The restaurants, there are 2 or 3 that have come on, and we've had a couple of months. And then some,
Well, if I may, Mr. Baker, Ditmore, the hardware store, when we did that first phase of annexation, was not in, but it is now, we're collecting sales tax.
Yeah, I
from
mean, I think
Ditmore.
we're taking in a wider tax
Not
base,
yet.
this is an expansion.
But that's not next
I think
one,
it's
is it?
a-
It's
So we get McDonald's.
Yes.
We don't have it yet.
And it's usually a year lag behind. So when we did that last annexation, that we took it, I didn't know Ditmar was in there, but the state considered it in there, so we're getting those sales tax from Ditmar, the lumber right there. Somebody see the rights in Ditmar?
Yeah,
yeah.
Ditmar and
Ditmar.
McCoy's.
So McCoy's we already had,
Yeah.
Ditmar's new.
Haven't registered, is it online yet?
I'm sorry.
The Chevrolet House?
Richardson Brothers Chevrolet.
It hit with the same thing.
So,
So we get sales tax from Richardson Brothers for sales of the auto parts, which is not where the big money is. Those Polaris things, whatever they are, the little motor things.
Yes.
We get sales,
ATVs.
we get sales tax on them, not the vehicles, but we get sales tax
And
on
we also
the.
get on the parts.
And the
Right.
parts, service.
That's huge.
So that's that would be a part of the increase because of the last annexation.
and I appreciate the fact that we have these new businesses and they're bringing additional revenues, but I think our car count with or without Eagle Ford has increased. You're seeing more traffic on 181. So I think, and the positive is we're growing, we're not going backwards.
I do have to say that I think that our sales tax was not adversely affected as much as some other communities, but it was definitely hit. Karnes City, Karnes County were definitely hit when the oil went down. We did not budget or anticipate any additional revenue. We just kind of think, okay, we're going to get this year, we got last year, so we were safe and conservative, then to project up. But he's right, the numbers on the uptick. We thought we'd be down by 6 to 7% last year, and actually we were up.
We're up.
8% at the end of the year, and what I think what Mr. Baker's trying to say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, is that we probably will be up again this year, and so a couple of years, we may be set to increase what we anticipate revenue, just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, but there is an uptick.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. That's why I like the comparison of the notes. But also, with that being said, there's a lesson to be learned in it being from the southern counties is you don't wrap all your arms around one single project. We've been diversified. We've done different things. So we're not just tied to the Eagle Ford, we're not tied to retail, we're not tied to whatever. You know, we're open and we take advantage of everything moving forward. So I think it's a smart play that's been done by the city as well as economic development. And I think we should continue on that path and not get wrapped up in one single project, banking that it's always gonna bail us out or carry us forward.
Henrietta, are these numbers, do you think, are reflective of the holidays, Christmas holidays?
The comptroller normally sends their numbers in, you know, a little, it's delayed shopping. And so, you know, December doesn't really reflect Santa Claus in December. You'll be getting that, in actually February. Those numbers for Christmas will be in February.
We actually got a report earlier that looks like February is going to be 80,000.
And I also want to compliment Christina. They're moving money over, moving our portion of the money over a lot faster than it has ever been. And so just the other day, we had, I think, 75,000 and, or actually it was a 65,000. And so I moved money into money market and kept the checking balance at 50,000 per the board's request. So,
It'd be nice to know.
so it's a positive all the way around.
So we're on this report, Mr. Baker, do we show, are we on track for our budget, our prediction for economic revenue?
Oh, yes, we're over. This year's budget.
Where do you see that on the report?
What's that?
Where do you see that on the report?
Like a percent of where you're at when the money comes in.
You know, it should be on page 1, the long sheet here. And that right-hand column is the percentage of budget and the budget balance. And, you know, we're our expenses, I guess, for January, from October to January, are about 7% of budget on the page 2. So
If you look at the first page, where it says percentage of the year, I think at the top, it's right after the green, one of the green.
the 33.33.
That's where we at right about now, that's what we're doing for this.
So that could be a
report.
line item on the budget
But,
sheet.
but
So-
let's not forget, we have tremendous payments that
Yes.
we make, so
But what it's saying
it's
is-
not all just extra profit.
But what it's saying here is the percentage of the year, you're at 33, so that's like the bar where you should be at. And what they're saying is that the taxes that you receive, you're at 36%
Yeah.
of what's projected, so you're about 3%, 3% above what where you should be. So,
So 33 is our goal, 36 are actual. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
And then you have our monthly at, right now, we're at 7, starting the new year.
So here you're at
Okay.
33% of the budget, but the taxes, which is your sales tax you've collected, you're at 36% at this point.
Okay.
So it's
So that's
not.
what that'd be, that's what I'm talking about, like on the cheat sheet,
Yeah.
it has those percentages, like a line for that versus having to thumb through it.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
And we have paid, in March of every year, we have 2 note payments, one on the 2004 bond and one on the 2006 sports park bond. And those payments were made in March, and then they're going to be due again in November. So
2006?
that's the timing of those note payments for the bonds.
2016?
You said 2006?
I'm sorry, yeah,
2006. We're in
2016.
2018 now.
or 2016, I'm sorry. The
It's bond payment.
the borrowed the money, our portion for this building,
Okay,
and then the 2016 instead of 6
For the card.
for the park.
okay.
And those run about $100,000 a year for the sports park and $116 and change for the building.
And then you have additional park maintenance of 50,
Yep.
it's $7 gone, so you got it.
And I assume you're calling